Psychos, there was one point where she was actually just a chill person for a little while. She got her power sealed off by another meta-human being when another powerful being thought she was going to rise to the top. So even back then, it's crazy that she went through some power evolution as a psionic being. There was a time where she couldn't even lift up a human with her telekinesis. Crazy, right? Progression. I mean, just like everybody, she went through her evolution. She was a high schooler, grown up looking all mature, can make meat puppets that she can control psionically from far away, fuse with other superpower entities that are also dragon level, which I'm going to get to later on in this vid. You're going to hear me mention that a lot in this video, so don't get mad if you hear me repeat myself. The One Punch Man universe is pretty complex. It has powerful human beings. Humans can actually turn into monsters. A great example is how this crab monster became a crab because he ate a whole bunch of crabs. So yeah, the world already has wacky elements to it. The world itself has a hero association where there's a whole bunch of strong beings that's ranked from, C class, B class, all the way up to S class being the top and strongest beings, depending on what their ability is. Each of them having different ways on why they're powerful. Some of these heroes just train via hard work. Some get superhumanness because of fighting skills making them superhuman. Some are cyborgs. Some are born with psionic telekinetic ability. So it's a wacky universe. One could say they're kind of like mutants. Some of them are mutants. Then some humans can become monsters, and they got their own organization too, the Monster Association. And just like the Hero Association, the monsters have their own rankings. There's some monsters that are greater than the others, but today I want to go over one of the monsters that's pretty high on the food chain when it comes to the different monsters in the association. And it's this lady. Her disaster level is Dragon. And when it comes to the different ranks in One Punch Man, you can get an idea of how strong these beings are by their threat level. A dragon is automatically a threat for multiple cities. You're probably thinking, what do they mean by being a threat for multiple cities? Like, they literally mean a threat for multiple cities. Like, they can probably split a city in half, blow multiple cities away, stuff like that. This being I'm going over in this video is a psionic type being. Kind of like heroes like Tatsumaki, but maybe not on her tier in her base form, but a psionic being nonetheless. Before I even get far in the video, I want to mention that throughout this video, she's going throughout her fair share of evolutions. First of all, when we first seen her appear, it wasn't really her. It was like a meat puppet. One could say a little avatar, not her true self at all. Then this is her base form basically. And then she ends up fusing with another dragon level entity and becoming stronger. So one could say like this, a good argument could be made that she actually surpassed dragon level and got maybe to low tier god levels. But this is after she, was amped and stuff and fused with another entity that was also dragon level. You know what I mean? You're going to see how this video goes though. I want to make something clear. Even in her base form, she's considered a dragon level threat. So it's not like all her power comes from this form when she's fused with another entity. She's still a dragon level threat like this in base form. Just keep that in mind. I'm going to come back to this. But without just jumping to her raw power output, she's pretty versatile, being a dragon level threat and part of the Monster Association, high up on the food chain of that organization. She's a psionic being, so she's versatile with it. Like, she can blast beams from her eyes. You can see a close-up shot of her using eye blast. Psionic ability here. Back earlier how I talked about she has an avatar, it's literally talked about as this is not her true form. This is her puppet's true form. It's just a lump of meat, for example. She can legitimately do meat puppets, controlling them from a long distance. It's literally confirmed right here. She can control her meat puppets from way deep underground while sipping and just relaxing. This also was her downfall. This is how she was able to get tracked, because her little signals, telepathic signals radiating off of her puppet. It's weird for beings that can move stuff with their mind and not have telepathy. That seems to be a starter pack for all psionic beings throughout all forms of fiction. She's no exception. One can say she has equipment or elixirs to help boost her might. It's proof right here she literally has telekinesis. She dragged one of her elixirs to her so she can drink it and power herself up. When it comes to this meat puppet, whatever this meat puppet can do, she can do better. She's literally controlling it from far away. This meat puppet that's about to fight Tatsumaki here is nothing compared to the real her. She's basically talking through this meat puppet, saying she's the military advisor to the Monster Association. So you can get little glimpses of her psionic ability. You can get little glimpses of her psionic ability through her puppets, being able to make all this debris surround Tatsumaki, for example. This pretty much proves she can level buildings, be able to control all this debris. In this particular occasion, Tatsumaki was able to break out. I just want to show you how big of a structure she can create or manipulate. It's obvious she can make psionic barriers. Her meat puppet actually has a higher form. One of her many techniques with telekinesis is her super gravity waves, to use gravity to enhance the gravity on beings times 300. In this meat puppet state, there's implications she could blast with lightning-looking attacks. It looks like lightning here, you know what I mean? You can kind of get an idea of her power. Is her little pets can tell what to do using telepathy to tell them what to do. This being known as Rover. You're probably thinking, what proof is it that she's stronger than Rover when it comes to raw power output? Because it's literally confirmed that overgrown Rover has a habit of submitting to more powerful beings. I think it's obvious her blast power when it comes to her psionic ability in her base state. can tremble mountains, obviously, because realistically, mountain shattering in the One Punch Man universe, especially for somebody that's in this tier, seems to be nothing. Not to mention she's literally confirmed to be a dragon level threat, beings that are a threat to multiple cities, so saying she's only mountain trembling is actually a disrespect. It's more realistic to assume she can definitely level a city if she really wanted to in her base form, or lift one up, or just blow one away. It just kind of adds up with the narrative and writer intent. Just to give you more visuals on her command, Rover is something I just showed you that only submits to beings that are more powerful in itself. It literally, listen, look at the blast power Rover can produce. Can definitely blow away buildings, messing up all that debris. And just to give you more idea of the destructive capacity of this entity that would submit to her, Psykos. It's funny that even then, this is a Tatsumaki's sister that's a lot weaker, says, I've never seen a monster on this level. It lets you know how strong she is if this pet that submits to her is this strong. Let you know how strong Psykos is. And here you got more evidence of this creature's blast power. Yeah, he's very destructive, can level builders with ease. The best way to understand her might is to understand how she can have tug-of-war issues with Tatsumaki when Tatsumaki was holding back, of course. She literally drags Tatsumaki with her raw power output and pulls her through all of this. You can see all the destructive powers she can do. Obviously can level buildings with ease. Pretty much could do stuff like this, like pulling buildings down if she wanted to. It's proof of that. Tremble them with her telekinetic power, stuff like that. Also, to give you another scope on how strong Tatsumaki is and why clashing with her, even while holding back, is still impressive. Even though I will admit Tatsumaki has advantage over her here, it's still cool to see her clashing with Tatsumaki that's holding back, because we've seen what Tatsumaki in the past can do while she's holding back. Lord Boros invasion, you guys remember Lord Boros, right? He has the giant ship that was like the size of a Star Destroyer from Star Wars that can produce attacks, that can level cities, giant bullets, right? That can do all this. Tatsumaki had the telekinetic raw power to stop all these giant projectiles, or one could say bullets, giant bullets, that was going to level the entire city. Tatsumaki can stop all of this at the same time. Look how big these craps are compared to normal humans. And she's stopping some way over here all over the place. She was holding back here because this is like effortless, by the way. Then sends them back the other direction to cause more damage to the ship itself. So Psycho simply clashing with Tatsumaki that's holding back already proves she has enough raw power output to clash with somebody that can level an entire city. This kind of adds up with her lore, being a dragon level threat too, blah, blah, blah. These two pushing each other back. I will admit, this is after Psykos used her elixir. Psykos is basically a walking nuclear bomb when it comes to psionic ability as well, clashing with a holding back Tatsumaki. Can definitely blow away a city or multiple. Like in this occasion, she uses Eye Blast, right? Tatsumaki blocks it. And look at the collateral of how her blast looks to the environment after she blasts her. But I do have to admit that, yeah, Tatsumaki had the advantage over her though. She actually had to run away, and this is where she gets her final power up to where the crazier feats even come in. She said, if we use the tremendous energy contained in your body, this being known as Orochi, another dragon level being, she can possibly be able to bridge the gap. This is where she basically becomes a fusion being, and her appearance changes. They even straight up say it, the union, deeply rooted malice and psychic powers, the great evil was born fruit. Matter of fact, when she fusions, she says, I can't believe you have such power. It looks a little grotesque. She's fused, but she technically suppressed him and took over his body to where she can kind of, like, she's literally the master of it. To give you an idea of how much power she can manipulate or control at this point, this being that she's one with, Monster King Orochi, has enough power to move a piece of the Earth's core to the surface with his energy or power projection or whatever, and use it in a form of attack. And this is the kind of power she has on top of her own power under her control. She's fused with a being that can do stuff like this by himself. In this new powered up state, she actually got strong enough to where Tatsumaki actually had to stop holding back. Like in this occasion, legit had her trapped a second or two, just like this. She explained here she swapped the inside of her barrier with the outside. It got corrupted, it can't disable. So Tatsumaki was kind of in a bind for a second or two. It lets you know that this new power-up she got was very significant. She went from not being able to match her in base state like that good to having her on the ropes for a second or two. That's when Tatsumaki straight up stated, I no longer need to hold back, so implying she was in the earlier panels. She even acknowledged that Tatsumaki was holding back. Did I mention in this new state she can absorb stuff? Psykos can absorb stuff because Tatsumaki mentions did she get even larger? Because she can absorb energy through those tendrils she has. I'll just let the panels speak for themselves when it comes to her blast power at this point. She did this ridiculously large blast that can split a big chunk of the Earth's crust with one single slash. It was able to produce some continental type stuff. Like, look at all this she sliced through. You can see the curvature of the planet, how much she sliced up to where it looked lifted up off the ground. She produced all, like, yo, I'll just let you guys see this for yourselves, how much she split up and that was lifted up and then it splashed downward. Look at the curvature of the planet. Look how much area effect yeah, all that. Stuff like this pretty much proves that she can instantly blast away an entire country, not just cities, but an entire country. I think stuff like this, we all can agree she could split continents, blast away continents, or even maybe blast apart a big chunk of the moon, or possibly even the whole moon if she put all her energy into it. This seemed like a casual attack that she could spam if she wanted to. And it's not like after the attack was done, she was drained. She continued to fight Tatsumaki. Because after she did it, look at what she said. She said, "This is splendid. This is my new power." Like, she's talking casual, like, "Oh, I can do this again," or something. She's not even acting drained after such a crazy attack. Other beings talk about how that attack cannot be measured. The energy wave was crazy. It's implying that she could have been like a serious threat, because they talk about how the power she absorbed, the power she has lets her absorb all living entities through her flesh roots, and then after fusing, the spirit becomes a massive thought entity. I am a starlight perfect life form. I wonder if I could become the earth itself. She thinks there's a chance she could become the earth itself. That would technically make her planetary at least, right? Earth level at least, right? What do you guys think her potential is? Do you think there's a possibility if she would have kept on getting stronger, she could have became the Earth itself and became an Earth buster or a planet buster, complete planet buster? Could she become a being strong enough to blow up the entire Earth eventually if she was let to absorb stuff more? On top of her being a psionic being fused with Orochi, she can do stuff that she normally wouldn't be able to do, like summon this dragon-looking stuff to help blast and stuff. Matter of fact, her blast power is so crazy that Tatsumaki, when battling her, said we can't let her attacks hit ground level because it can do catastrophic devastation to the planet itself. Obviously, people need to be evacuated. Seems like her psionic ability or Orochi helping her physicals, because when Tatsumaki lifts up mountain-sized boulders or super huge boulders at her or whatever, she can physically, with her hands, crack it with a blow like that. Not just crack it, but completely split it in half. Like, yeah. Their clash was so big and catastrophic that people that were spectating, like, you see how much aerial effect they're taking up, that people that were watching, they was like, "Oh my gosh, it looks like it's the end of the world over there, isn't it?" Like, they was producing so much energy in their clash. It looked catastrophic. Did I also mention that her being fused with this being, it seems that she got some new abilities, like legit be twisted up like this. And she was able to regenerate from something like this and keep on fighting after all this damage she's getting done up. But of course, you know, she inevitably loses though. But yeah, this entity, Psykos, was very powerful, especially in her fused state. But by herself, she's already dragon level. Fusing with another dragon level, one could argue made her close to god level. Who knows? And we're not even going to talk about her jet-like form. She just keep on body hopping, right? Even if she's not fully powered, she still can clash with S-rank heroes above A, B, you know how people grade in school, A, B, C, D. She still can fight S beings that are above A rank. I mean, Genos is an S rank, for example, and he fused with another entity and she still clashed with him to show that, yeah, she's a legit dragon rank. You gotta have respect for her at this point. I mean, everybody's just fighting her, teaming up on her at this point. And these ain't no weaklings, like all the top tiers she's having to withstand. She said this body's useless now, time to leave. You know, she keep on body hopping. Bye-bye to your body. But for the most part, all of this stuff could be just me. Do you respect her might? Who's your favorite monster in the association? Do you think she actually could have became Earth itself? These top tier monsters seem to be busted. But before I get going, everybody, I gotta say thanks for the donations, everybody. Helps out a lot. Respect her. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.